5-time champs.
5 times.
Woo! Can you believe it?
No, I can't believe it.
Neither can I, but we'll tell you all about it. Stay tuned. Here we are at the State Hill Boat Ramp. This is where it starts every year with the Izaak. And they do a great job. Right over here they'd have the trailer and their tent, coffee and donuts first thing in the morning. And it's really nice because all your anglers that you look up to and you compete with all year long, they're here. Camaraderie's great, but then it's fierce competition, as we all know. Over here, the boats will be lined up all the way down through. Again, 53 boats in this tournament. Usually it's 50 to 70 boats. Then over here to my right, you know, they'll have the markers telling you, you know, when blast off starts, and they'll start calling numbers, and then we'll be over there. Let me get my boat out there. I'm going to come over here to my right, and I'm going to show you how we think and go about blasting off to our first spot. So we're sitting out here. Everybody takes their boats off the beaches. The first flight's starting to go. We're boat 47 out of 53. And we look at each other, my dad and I, and he goes, "Where do you want to go?" And I'm like, well, in all reality, we got to see what's open. So we go, you know, we can go this way, that way, and you see all these boats going everywhere. So we just wait. Our boat gets called and we go somewhere. Happens every time. And then we just let the day come to us. Finally, it's 47, and we're going to head down the lake. I get asked all the time, "Nick, you know, what area of the lake should I fish?" And that's tough because it's spring. And one of the things I like about spring fishing is it changes all the time. I think that's the reason why you got so many different people winning and catching fish. And one day you're a hero, the next day you're a zero. I am one that absolutely believes 100% all the time that tournaments can be won at any part of any lake. That's just how I always believe. You know, here we are today. You know, right here behind me, you have the Tully. Also leads up to 183. All right, and then over here, you have Spring Creek. And obviously behind me here, you have the main lake. Every one of these areas has the fish to win any tournament. And for this tournament here, as I'm coming down that lake, I'm also looking at where is everybody? Because you got 53 pairs of anglers on this lake. You can't just go wherever you think you wanted to go. And a lot of guys spin out literally right away because their first spot, somebody's sitting on it. Then they're thinking in their head, well, they're going to catch them. And you got to have a confidence in your mind that tells you they don't fish like me, and I'm going to catch fish anyways. All right, we've always done that. And that's why it's really good to have a great partner. When I'm down, my dad's up. When he's down, I'm up. And we always work like that. And if you're both down, it's hard to ever come back from that. All right, and this is a very tough tournament. This is one of the toughest tournaments you'll ever fish. That's why, you know, so many people are trying to win it, and it's held in high prestige in this area because 50 boats to 70 boats on a small lake, I mean, this lake is considered to be around 800 to 1,000 acre lake. I don't believe it at all. And then when you bring the water level down, right now it's high. When you bring that water level down 4 feet, it fishes even smaller. Okay, so this is a tough place to go, and it'll really try your confidence levels, your fishing levels, and everything in between. All right, so now let's say the day's over, and I can tell you, without a shadow of a doubt, no matter how good you think you've done in this tournament, and we're talking about the Izaak, okay, you never think you have enough, ever. Because these guys are just so good. You know, there's some really, really good anglers that fish this thing. You head to the beach, because that's where they do the weigh-in, and it's always a good feeling. It's always a good feeling knowing that you're going to weigh in. You just weigh in one fish, you already beat more than half the field every year here. Think about that. If you fish this tournament and you catch one fish, and you're all disappointed and you're all bent out of shape, don't be. Because more than half the field didn't. Let's go to the beach. Let's talk about how we do our weigh-ins and how excited you are when you weigh in. And then let's talk about what you've been waiting for. Some tactics and tackle. Here we are. We're at the beach. I'm going to let you see this here. And at this point of the tournament, what's done is done. What you have is what you have, and you're coming in here, you're talking to your partner, my dad, you know, I'm talking to him, and I'm going, well, you did the best we could, we got what we got. You don't know if you're going to have enough or not. Some days you have a lot to bring in, some days you don't. On this day, we did real well, but we didn't know that. You know, we don't know what other guys have. There's a lot of good anglers here, very good anglers here, and you can never underestimate what they have. So, like I said, at this point, we're pulling in. We see boats parked up in the parking lot. We know they're done. And you're looking at maybe 15, 20 boats in here. So you're like, well, probably got a top 5 at least with the limit. Then you go up, and you get to go up and weigh your fish in. And that's always a special time. For us, what we do is we have a bag usually that we bring our own, and you can't see through it, so people don't know what you got. Not that we're trying to hide anything, but it's fun, you know. Now we're parked here. What we like to do too is carry our bag up together. No matter if we have 1 fish or 6 fish, nobody knows. But we're a team. That's how we roll. That's how we always roll. So now we're here at the beach, and I'm going to switch it up here for you. And you get to, you know, get off your boat. And, you know, as soon as you get here, you got people meeting you, you know, telling you how it went, how many people weighed in, what they have, what's winning. You know, and you're making the trek up. I like to always tell them that our boat number is here. That way, you know, they got it. And then right up there where you see that building there is where the weigh-in goes, right in that stone wall area. And everybody's looking at you. They want to know what you have. Like I said, some days it's your day, some days it's not. Some days you walk up here and them hot dogs are looking pretty good. Other days, you know, you have a chance. But we won. Now I'm going to head back to the boat, and let's go over some tackle. When we do real well, when we win, you know, we leave the beach area and we head back over to State Hill. And I always love that ride. One of the things you need to know is, and I don't know if everybody can relate to this or not, but I never went into any tournament knowing I was going to win, ever. Confidence to win, you know, thinking I can make the right decisions or, you know, whatever, but never knowing. So when we're trekking across the State Hill, we're always looking at each other and we're like, can you believe it? You know, get all pumped up. It's just, you need everything to go your way so bad. It's so many things can change your day. And that trek from where the boat's sitting back to State Hill is a special ride. So now the moment you all been waiting for. Look who the cat drug in. My dad, my partner. We want to talk about baits. We want to get into these baits. This is the basis of our arsenal. But we were going to do some on-the-water footage, and we decided, you know what? In respect of everybody that fishes here, and ourselves, and all the hard work we put in, that's not right. We'll show you our base of our arsenal. You can use it to figure out, you know, for yourself, and we'll go from there. So the first one I always have tied on, and I know you do, is going to be the jig. That's just been a staple for us for a long time, everywhere we go.
It works everywhere you go.
This one here, you just can't go wrong with. That is the Kytek Casting Jig. 3/8 or 1/2 ounce, whichever you prefer. And if you see that, that's a green pumpkin. We also like black and blue.
Black and blue.
But this time of year, the green pumpkin seems to work better. And that crawl there is a pack of crawl. This is exactly what I used that day. And it's more of an orange hue. Sometimes we like a green hue too.
Green.
You know, just working it slow. You probably work a jig slower than I do.
Yeah, I work mine slow. I basically try to drag it as much as I can when the water's cold. It's not hard to do at all. You throw it out there, let it sink. If you don't get a bite on the fall, I just work it real slow, that it just hangs the bottom. You can feel all the rocks and stuff.
Yeah, if you're not feeling stuff, you're not catching fish, right?
No, and if you feel something, don't pull it away. You feel it, you lift it up, and then let it sit there, because they'll see that action, and then they'll see it sitting there and go, oh boy, easy.
Exactly.
Grab it.
And the rod and reel that I like to use is a Para G2 from Cast King. It's a 7'1", medium heavy. This is an all-around great rod. I use chatterbaits, crankbaits, lipless, you name it, Senko's jigs. It works for everything. And this is a 8:1-to-1 gear ratio Bassinator Classic. Now for the springtime, that reel could be a little bit fast, but I've kind of mastered for myself to slow down a little bit with that. So that's our first one.
I always find out it's always better to have a faster reel. You gotta just tell yourself you gotta keep slow down.
Right.
Because when you do get hooked and they come to you, it's nice to be able to.
Exactly. Now, you will see that change for me a little bit. Again, we fish differently, and that's what makes it good. Yeah. That's what makes it work. The next one is going to be the swim bait here. And this is a Kytek. This one here is a 3.8. We also use a 3.3. This hue is the smallmouth magic. Also like the blue pearl.
I like the blue pearl.
Yeah, that's this color here. This is a 3.3. And that's got a little bit different head. That's a football jig head, depending on what you like. This jig head here is a new one, actually, by Z-Man. Really like the shape of it, like those eyes. Really looks nice. And this is another slow-moving bait. Again, he'll fish this bait a little bit slower than I would, but this is where I like to use a slower reel, where you're still using the faster reel. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. You just got to know to slow down with it a little bit. And again, what would you say the key is? Keeping it on the bottom.
Keep it on the bottom.
Again, 7'1", medium heavy, Para G2. But now I got the Ninja Bassinator on here. This is a 6'6"-to-1, just slows me down a little bit. It helps me slow down. Both of these setups that I just showed you, for me, it's going to be 15-pound, 100% fluorocarbon, Yozuri top knot, and that's basically what you're using too.
Yep.
Now, this next bait has been the key to our arsenal for a long time.
Yes.
And literally, we won our first Izaak specifically with this bait.
All day.
And then ever since, because of how many people are throwing it.
Pressure. A lot of people throwing it anymore.
Right. And now we had to mix in some other, techniques in there to pick up fish. And, sometimes we pick up a key fish or so still. And that's going to be the Smithwick Rattling Rogue jerkbait, suspending. This is just a great jerkbait because it doesn't break the bank. If you're not used to jerkbait fishing, this is still one of the best ones out there. There's two downfalls I'd say with it is it doesn't cast like some of the newer ones, like the Mega Bass or the Stunna or the new Loco from 13. But it casts well enough, and The other thing is, if you're going to use this bait, and I have another one here, you might want to get yourself some suspended dots, something like that, because depending on the water temperature, they don't always suspend perfect.
So we'll give you a little secret of ours that we learned this a long time ago, and it's been well known. When you get to the lake in the morning, some guys do it at home because they have the fish aquarium and they got the water cold. You know, they came out the day before, it's 42 degrees, and they can work it there. But when you get there in the morning, at your where you're going to start the tournament, you know, you take your bait, put it in the water, and just see what it's doing. If you want it to fall a little slower, put it on. Because if you used it yesterday and the water temperature was 61, and now the water temperature is 54, it's not gonna work the same as when you caught your fish. So you really, it's one of the main things that we can tell you,
right,
that worked for us, is make sure the bait is working the way when you caught fish. Sometimes you don't need the weight. Sometimes you just rip it and they want it. But a lot of times in the spring when the water's cold, we found out the best thing for us is to have a little weight and just make sure it's either getting down to that 5 foot and staying or slowly sinking.
And I like to experiment. You also see some different hooks on there. That's the triple grips. Again, they'll make your bait do some different things too. Sometimes I'm looking for just a different action in that bait, a hunting action or a darting action, depending. For this specific technique, I have a Speed Demon Pro. This is a specific jerkbait rod. And the reason why I like this rod is because in the summertime, I got like 3 or 4 of these setups. In the summertime, I'll take this reel off because it's a 6:6 to 1 gear ratio. I'll put the 8:1 to 1 on with some braid, and now I can use it as a topwater rod too. And it works great for those small topwaters to walk the dogs and all that stuff. But for this setup, I'm always using 10-pound fluorocarbon, again, the Ozuri, and I'll have 3 or 4 different jerkbait rods with maybe different sizes, different depths, different color hues that might catch them. Because we're constantly trying to figure out what's going on. So that's our basic baits. But do you really think that the baits are the most important, or do you think it's how we change constantly throughout the day?
Well, I'm going to say it's because the baits work, but we change a lot.
We do.
We do. I mean, people, you know, they think, oh, winks, jerkbait. Mm-hmm. They don't realize how many times that we change, and he'll be throwing something, I'll be throwing something different.
The thing is, we do fish different too.
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes he'll be catching them one half of the day, and I'm not. Or I'm catching them one half of the day, and you're not.
That pretty much happened every tournament.
And somehow, throughout the course of the day, it all comes together, and something that we're just doing differently seems to work. And we just cover a lot of water. I think
that's what we do.
Yeah, and we're not afraid to fish things that nobody else is fishing.
Right.
Because I was explaining earlier in this video how when we were boat 47, we had no idea where we're even starting. And that happens every time. So we're sitting there going, where do you want to go? Well, let's see what's open. You're going down the lake and you're just like, oh, there's a spot open. And then you just kind of think through your day from there. Mm-hmm. You know, there's no secret. This lake's small.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of people. You know, everybody's...
With the new electronics.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's favorite button is the waypoint button on your electronics. I mean, there is no secret out there anymore.
No.
So we don't have a secret spot. I think we just complement each other well. We fish hard, and we do get lucky too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I think that's a big part of it too. Sometimes.
Yeah.
But we're in the right spots.
We're doing the right stuff.
We're always doing the right stuff. But there's sometimes like it'll be like 10 o'clock. We don't have fish, and we're like, man, this just ain't.
Yeah.
Maybe we should go for breakfast.
Yeah. we went for hot dogs earlier.
We did that already.
Yeah. Don't think every time we're just whacking fish.
Yeah.
You know? Just like this tournament in particular, we had 7 keepers.
Yep.
But we only had 7 bites.
7 bites, yeah.
So we got lucky. When we talk about some luck, we didn't lose any fish. You hear a lot of guys come back to the weigh-in and they're like, man, I lost a big one. And that can happen.
And they could have won it.
And that can ruin your day. You have to have everything go right to win this tournament.
And yeah, especially with all the boats and the pressure. When you get one on and you miss it, I can just feel for the guys that when you hear them talking, oh man, it was right at the boat, because that there is a game changer to your rhythm, because now you know, man, I needed 6. I just lost 1. And it's hard to get 6 in the Izaak. It really is.
It's so hard. Yeah, rarely does it happen. It happened with 3 of us this tournament. And, you know, kudos to the other 2 teams that caught them. They very well could have been bigger fish than what we had. So, you know, you can't help that. The other thing that people ask all the time is, are we proud of, you know, winning this one or winning 5? I know I am.
Oh, I am.
You know, 'cause it's so hard. People know what we do. Word gets out. People watch you. People are doing the same thing. We're not afraid to tell you what we're doing.
No.
And we got a lot of friends out here. They're doing
guys from our club.
stuff.
We showed, you know,
Yep.
he showed stuff that he does. I showed stuff when they're on our boats, and
Right.
and they really picked it up, and we're glad. We want other people to catch fish as much as we want to catch fish.
Right.
And when we see somebody that we help catch fish, it's like, yeah. That's good.
But that being said, too, I want to give a shout out to some of our competitors in the Izaak, because they really do things their own way, too.
Oh, yeah.
And one thing we've always been proud of ourselves, no matter where we go, and we're not just good at Blue Marsh. I think we've proven that now, that we can spread out and still do well everywhere. But there's other anglers here that can do the same thing.
Yes,
I'm thinking Darryl Esterly.
Yep. Great fisherman.
Kevin Gergel and Travis. They do a great job. And Ryan Bauman.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you can never count that guy out.
Yeah. I mean,
he's a hammer here.
But what I like about them is not only are they good here,
they're good everywhere.
but they'd be good everywhere. And you know, we fit right in there with that.
Yeah.
So when you go to a tournament and you feel like no matter where you go, you can do well, that's good. That means you're a well-rounded angler.
And that's you figured some things out, you know.
Yeah. So what it really comes down to for this particular tournament is, I think it's just small adjustments throughout the day.
Small adjustments and keep casting.
And keep casting.
Keep making. You can't catch them if your line's not in the water.
Right. So another thing I wanted to see what you thought about this is, what's your favorite time of the tournament?
I like the morning when you're with all the guys.
Yeah,
because we know these guys for years.
Yeah,
and I love it. I love in the morning you're talking. Everybody's got their plans, and you know some guys. Oh, I whacked them, and you're like, oh boy, we're gonna have to really fight against them. And then you know, it's just good time in the morning. Meet all the guys.
Speaking of that, did you ever go into a tournament? Now I know you're probably gonna say something different than I would say on this one. But did you ever go into a tournament knowing you were going to win, or did it just have to come together?
I think only one time, and that was the year before this one.
Okay.
When I said to you in the morning,
you did say it. You did.
I'm going to tell you why, because I think I spent a lot of time.
You did
that spring before the tournament, and I found something new, and I was so excited, and I had so much confidence.
And you did say, we're going to win this one.
And I said, Nick, I think we're going to win this one because I'm on to something. I don't think I caught anything on that thing.
No, you didn't. We had to,
we had to change plans.
But that's okay. That's what we do. I think for me, you know, you need a motivation. And for me, the motivation is always trying to figure them out.
Yeah.
And I think I don't like to get myself too psyched up that I already have it. Because every time I would do well in pre-fishing or practice, it would always come back to haunt me.
Yeah.
So I'm always kind of on edge trying to think, what's today going to bring? And I just think that's why it works well for us. I think we just do a good job of making adjustments, fishing the moment. And at the end of the day, usually we're in the hunt.
Yeah. And we usually don't, like when we're out there, we always think we don't have enough weight. The only time, it was 3 years ago when we were up at Candlewood.
That's right.
And we had
23 pounds or 22 pounds.
I said to Nick, I said, we got this one. Yeah, we didn't even get a check.
No, we ended up getting 4th. It only paid 3, and we lost that 5-pounder in the morning.
But that was fun.
That was
a good
lot
day.
of fun.
We caught a lot of good fish that day.
But as you can see, we have a lot of fun. We work great as a team here. We're a team to always be reckoned with. We know that. We're proud of that fact. Thank you for always wishing us well, congratulating us. We really do appreciate it. We don't take any of it for granted.
No.
Because you never know when you're going to do well again. And it's just been a great couple tournaments for us that we've had a good time.
Well, everyone's great to me to fish. To fish for your son. It doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
I love when him and I can go fish together, because not only because it's my son, but we fish good together and
Right.
we're a good team.
Right.
Never argued. I don't think we ever
No,
argued.
we never argued. It's just
I might yell at other people on other boats, so but
it's just hard for you to get me here sometimes.
Yeah,
that's all.
yeah,
That's the
that's-
first obstacle.
yeah.
But no, it's always a great time. Hope you enjoyed this video. We tried to give you as much as we could. We want you to be a better angler. Get out there and start fishing. And like I always say, there's no such thing as a bad day on the water.
That's absolutely right. And if you see us on the lake, come over to us. We'll try to help you out.
That's right. Have fun.